We're trying to take advantage of the winter weather hitting Arizona today. Check the roads first. Better safe than sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday for 12 News at 4 o'clock. I'm Rachel Cole. Tram and Troy have the day off. And here are three things that you need to know right now when it comes to those conditions. The two main highways that take drivers from the valley to Flagstaff are closed because of heavy snowfall and multiple cars reportedly sliding off the road. Very dangerous conditions. Both the I-17 between State Route 169 and the I-40 interchange and I-17 southbound at Munns Park are closed. Also, State Route 89A northbound is closed between Sedona and the I-17 interchange. Let's take a live look from our 12 News Storm Tracker. Our photojournalist is out there chasing the rain here in the valley. Boy, has it been coming down steadily for quite some time. At last check, he was on the 51 southbound. It looks like he's heading even further into the southeast valley. We appreciate Philip being out there tracking the rain for us. Meanwhile, our 12 News weather watchers sharing incredible videos with us on social media. David capturing this gorgeous winter wonderland in the high country as his pups enjoy the snow up in Flagstaff. And of course, as you can see, there's a lot of fresh powder and tough conditions out there on the slopes for skiers, but certainly didn't stop everybody from heading up to Arizona Snow Bowl. We always love the live look from that camera up there at 9,500 feet. Here in the valley, it's been a rainy day with rain falling throughout most of the day. Been pretty steady, light to moderate, if you will. And we do have live team coverage for you with crews spread out all across the state. Of course, meteorologist Crystal Long tracking radar back here in the studio. But we want to start in Flagstaff, where the snow and ice forced those major road closures that we've been telling you about. So, Joe, you've been braving the conditions for the last couple of days. How are things looking this afternoon for us?
We're seeing it come in waves, and a little flurry right now. We also have another road closure to tell you about. The I-40 East at the Ash Fork exit is also closed. So you're talking about several major highways that cross through this major thoroughfare of Flagstaff here in northern Arizona. Now, NAU, they have their final day of spring break today. So this is a story of some people sort of stuck here and others not able to get here. NAU students who may have been finishing classes also are waiting it out before some of them are able to travel out of Flagstaff for spring break. And then, of course, you have others who would like to get up here to Flagstaff, but because of those road closures on the 17, they can't just yet. If you're hoping for a fantastic day at Snow Bowl or somewhere else, I would recommend definitely, wait to travel tomorrow if you can, but check ADOT's 511 information system for later tonight. It is supposed to clear up. The question is just how quickly ADOT can clear away some of these roads. They had several slide-off accidents there on the I-17. For those who had made it up already, they're loving it. We're talking about residents from Phoenix, both the two-legged kind and the four-legged.
He gets really excited. He does not like the heat. He gets grumpy, and then when he's in the snow, he is just loving it and just playing in it. And that's perfect because I love snow too. So
yeah, so this is a time where we're seeing impromptu snowball fights break out now back here in downtown Flagstaff. And we have some students just behind me here. Hopefully I don't get pelted. They're getting a little bit aggressive, but I think we're okay for the moment. Huge sigh of relief, though, because this storm delivered. The last couple haven't quite done so. We are on track to probably get near or even perhaps more snowfall today than the city of Flagstaff had received all winter.
A very welcome sight, and I know you showed us that powder about a foot earlier in the day, and now you're hanging out with these cute dogs, and we got to meet Heidi and Hazel, and here comes the snowball.
Yes.
You better not. Leah has been getting great video for you out there, our crew live in Flagstaff. Uh-oh, he's waving over the snowballers. Let's see.
Mom.
Yes. Oh, hi, Mom. There you go. Go Lumberjacks.
So if you make friends with them,
I love it.
If you make friends with them first, then they won't pelt you with snowballs.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Trying to get out of town or staying here for spring break?
We're trying to get out, but we actually found it was a lovely town, so we're probably going to stay a couple more hours.
Okay, well, have fun.
Highway was closed,
Yes.
so a good reason to stay
That's
a bit
the
more.
story. That's the story. Highway closed So we're making the most of it.
I love it. Thank you, guys. All right, Joe, watch your 6 out there. You can't trust them. All right, we'll see you in the next half hour. Today's weather also impacting a ton of the Valley's tourist attractions. Multiple spring training games unfortunately rained out, and the conditions also impacting Phoenix Raceway. 12 News journalist Sean Rice chatting with fans at both events out there in the West Valley. So, Sean, how is everybody handling the changes in our conditions?
Yeah, I got to say, Rachel, all things considered, with it being very damp, rainy, a lot of wind here in the area, people are in pretty high spirits, both at ballparks all across the valley and specifically here at the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale. We're in an area that race fans know all too familiar. This is RV City. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of RVs and trailers here in this area, and people are still having a good time. We spoke with some people this afternoon who were still tailgating. They're certainly not letting the rain get in the way of their festivities. Now, for much of the afternoon, there have been some ominous clouds and some pretty steady rain falling here in Avondale at the Phoenix Raceway. Many people gathering around fires to get some relief from both the cold and the high winds. For race fans, they tell me struggling through some cold and damp weather certainly doesn't bother them. Many have said they've been through it before all across the country. They always knew Friday, here today, would be dreary, and the race over the weekend would likely be beautiful.
Everybody has radar on their phones, so y'all know it's gonna rain at 4 in the morning and whatever, and rain till like 3 in the afternoon. So we all know this stuff, but it's great. We love it.
And this morning, baseball fans out in Goodyear arrived early, expecting to see the Giants take on the Reds at Goodyear Ballpark. That game, unfortunately, one of the 4 canceled and rained out. Now, many of the folks I spoke with there were actually visiting from Cincinnati, and they were not expecting the weather to be nearly as bad as it is in Ohio. Many were comparing it to weather out on the East Coast. But even so, their spirits were also very high. Take a listen.
16 or 18 degrees warmer here than it is there. We had a slight snow on Wednesday right before we left, and I had to de-ice the plane just to get here. So this is a blessing.
Yeah, that game out in Goodyear, unfortunately, one of the 4 canceled. Many expressed disappointment for that, but many had tickets to this weekend's game, so certainly going to be able to see some baseball on their trip out here to the Valley. Now, back here at the Phoenix Raceway, there is a race here tonight. It's called the ARCA race before the big race on Sunday. I'm told that race is likely to go off without a hitch, as it's just mainly sprinkling right now. Certainly not as bad as it was earlier this afternoon. Live at the Phoenix Raceway, Sean Rice, 12 News.
I know you were getting soaked out in Goodyear about 1:15 this afternoon, but it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, that they can have campfires out there to kind of warm things up just a bit, at least in the overnight hours.
Yeah, Rachel, as you mentioned that, there's just some people over here to our left that actually have a fire lit, certainly trying to keep warm. But many of the folks that are out of state say the 45 degrees or whatever it is right now certainly isn't bad compared to where they're from. As you heard in that soundbite a second ago, many even view this dreary weather to us, the natives here in Arizona, as some sort of relief compared to where they're from.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. We're going to check in with Crystal just to see how we compare to the rest of the country. Sean, live for us in Avondale. Thanks so much for the live report.